I'm Kyle Long, and you're listening to Cultural Manifesto. Up next, we'll celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month by listening back to my 2024 conversation with Omar Apollo. Born in Hobart, Indiana in 1997, Omar Apollo is a Grammy-nominated Mexican-American singer-songwriter whose music blends R&B, pop, funk, and Latin influences. His 2022 debut album, Ivory, earned widespread critical praise. Ivory charted on the Billboard 200 and secured Omar's nomination for Best New Artist at the 65th Grammy Awards. I spoke with Omar after the release of his second album, God Said No. In our wide-ranging conversation, Omar reflected on his roots in Indiana and the pressures he faced growing up gay and Latino in the Midwest. Before we join my conversation with Omar Apollo, let's listen to his 2022 single, Evergreen.
Evergreen, he tears me to pieces. Doesn't even have to try. She don't know you like me. She could never love you more than me.
That was Omar Apollo with Evergreen. I spoke with Omar in 2024. Let's listen back to an excerpt from our conversation. Omar, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I mean, I appreciate it for you even getting on and we get to do this.
A lot of my work as a music journalist involves researching the history of music and arts in Indiana. And there's an incredible lineage of soul and R&B music here, including icons like Babyface, Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, tons of lesser-known names, Timmy Thomas, Sonny Charles.
Babyface is from Indiana?
He's from Indianapolis. Yeah, he comes back here all the time.
He's from Naptown?
He is. Yeah, he grew up, he was singing in bands as a teenager here and has real deep roots. His family's still here.
That's crazy. I just like sang a song that he wrote.
No kidding. Which one?
It's not out. It's some...
Okay, got it. Do you feel connected to that lineage of history here, or maybe not? Maybe it's something you...
I do, yeah. Well, I grew up 5 minutes down the street from Michael Jackson's house on Jackson Street. So Gary, Indiana is like super, super close. And also all of the musicians coming out of Gary and like I think it was called the Chitlin Circuit.
Chitlin Circuit, yeah, right.
Yeah, I knew all about that from this guy who would come into Guitar Center all the time. He would tell me about it and how jazz started over there. And then I would work, when I was working at Guitar Center, they'd come in and I'd jam with everybody, all the players, from like R&B to soul to rock to whatever. And that's how I like kind of picked up on, I guess, the areas like, I guess, taste. I learned so much. I learned all about chords, and I was teaching them what I would find too. And it was like an even exchange, and they'd come in and be like, Omar, like, come on, let's go play. And I'd go back there and I'd jam, hop on a bass or hop on a guitar, and they'd hop on the bass. And so yeah, like I know that, and I also know like, you know, that James Dean's from Indiana. We have a lot of cool people. We got a lot of good, yeah.
There's a book it's called The Road to Rock and Roll, The Birth of the Chitlin Circuit, and it's about a R&B promoter from Indianapolis who developed the Chitlin Circuit, if you ever want to dive into that history. Yeah.
I mean, tell me about it. Who were the more lesser known guys?
Oh, from Indiana? I mean, have you ever heard Timmy Thomas? Why Can't We Live Together from Evansville? Drake sampled it in Hotline Bling. Denise Williams.
Oh, Denise Williams, of course.
Yeah.
Her grandson was driving me around in Vegas. He was like a driver. He's like, yeah, my grandma's in the music industry. I'm like, who's your? Oh, no, it was his mom. He's like, and then he said it was Denise Williams. I love Denise Williams, and that's like right by me, like literally right next. Denise Williams is oh.
When
Let me give you one recommendation, if you don't mind. Here in Indianapolis, there was a vocal group in the 60s called the Vanguards, and they recorded a song called Somebody Please, which has become massive in the Chicano oldies movement in LA. People do it in Spanish. It's like the most beautiful, heartbreaking ballad ever. Somebody Please. It's like one of those slow burn R&B ballads. The Vanguards. Check it out. You'll love it. It's been sampled by a lot of Chicano rappers, too.
I know the song.
Yeah. All right. Oh, my God. I can't believe you're singing this.
Somebody please give me just a minute to explain.
I love that you know that, man. That's amazing. But yeah, rich history here. And you're a part of that, in my view. Do you feel connected to the Michael Jacksons and baby faces of Indiana?
Just because I'm in the area, like, but I don't see myself as like, oh yeah, like, but I'm sure that like it had a huge influence on like why I am doing music, Like I'm like, dang, Michael Jackson was from down the street. Like what? Literally down the street. I could walk this house in 3 minutes. So I mean that was like a big thing for me. And I grew up playing in the church, playing guitar in the church, and sang a little bit, not really. I sang mostly when I got out of high school. And then I really started to train my voice and learn how to use it, but and developed it and things like that. I started recording my own songs in the winter, like in the garage, like you can see my breath when I'm recording, like it's freezing in Indiana. So yeah, it's just I feel really connected to the area. Yeah, and I was actually like thinking about moving back, so I'm just like going through that right now.
Do it. There's a big scene growing here. There's like an emerging scene here.
No, yeah, my friends got their ears to the streets. They're telling me like that ever since you left, everyone's been on it. I'm like, for real? And then so I'm just like, that's cool, because there was nothing when I was there.
I was going to ask that. Was there any kind of scene in Hobart that you felt connected to or in that region as a teenager? Was there anything you could kind of be a part of?
There was just literally my friends, and then a little bit of friends from Indianapolis that we met like on Twitter who were like on the same kind of like art kind of thing. They weren't making music. They're more photographers and creatives. And then I was up north by Gary and stuff making music. There was a few people in Gary I made music with. And then a few people down the street I make some music with. And we were all kind of like, on the same shit. And then the people from Chicago started to come to my house because they were like, whoa, like there's some shit going on over here, Or like, and I was engineering people. I was just recording them. They'd be like, can you engineer me? Like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, come through. Wouldn't even charge them. And then like, it just started like this little thing. And then we would do like basement shows. Draco McCoy.
Oh, wow. I know him.
I have a song with him from like 2018 or something. We're just on that. I mean, I just knew that I had to hit the road. Like I had to go on the road to actually gain some sort of like a core fan base to succeed in what I wanted to do. But yeah, I really want to go back. I mean, I miss it, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful state. There's a lot to love about it and admire about it. I mean, Lake Michigan is right there. And all the green and the fields, and my brother lives in the country, like a little bit more southern Indiana. So yeah, it's always been like a dream of mine for sure. And not the ridiculous amount of family I have there is crazy.
Indiana is a great place. It's a complicated place. You've talked a lot about how the conservatism of Indiana negatively affected you as a young person. It struck me that in your teenage years, that overlapped with Mike Pence's time as governor here. In 2015, Mike Pence passed the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which many critics called a legalization of discrimination against lesbians, gays, trans, queer people. You were 18, I believe, when that passed. How did that conservative aspect of life and culture in Indiana shape your life as a young person?
I mean, I definitely had like this paranoia of not being able to be myself in that area. And it is crazy. I remember seeing Mike Pence signs everywhere. But at the same time, I had like 25 friends with me at all times. And they were like, I mean, we were always just like, I was just like posseed up, like, because it was a scene, you know, and I always did, you know, I did receive a lot of like, you know, from my old friends and things, and people that were close to me, they would tell me and be like, this person thinks it's weird that we hang out or boom or whatever. Like, it's like, does he try to touch you or does he try to, you know, it's like, yo, you've known this guy for like 10 years. He's never touched you. I don't think he wants to touch you. So it's just kind of like, you know, like, and then I remember being like, you know, on top of being queer and on top of being Mexican, it was, you know, out here, I don't really stand out, you know, like as a Mexican, like, but out there it was like, oh, like, you know, where are you from? Where, you know, and I'm just like, I'm from here. They're like, no, where are you really from? And I'm like, I'm from here. I'm American. I was born in America. But, you know, obviously my parents are from Jalisco and, well, they're from Zapopan and Guadalajara. But, yeah, I just like grew up with, you know, those kinds of tropes. And honestly, there was a lot of racism, especially to my parents. I mean, I could speak English like fluently, but if you had like a little bit of an accent or, you know, you could tell you weren't from there. Like, I remember being like 9 years old and somebody yelling at my mom for not understanding about like a credit card, like a credit or debit or something. And this guy is just like, there should be 2 lines, one for people who actually speak English or whatever. And then I was just like, I remember I was a little ass kid and I was just like, screamed at him in the way that I knew how at that age. And like another mom came and grabbed me like, oh my God, stop it. Like, you know, like, but, you know, growing up, I had to translate. I had to, you know, I helped my parents get their citizenship and with their tests and everything, you know. And like, oh, like, can you read this mail for me? What does it say? Can you know, all the things of the house. And so there was like a lot of, you know, tiny nuanced things I had to deal with being, you know, Mexican, but also like from a religious family, and then dealing with being queer is like really complex. There's a lot of layers to it, but ultimately I just wanted to make music. I don't really care. I mean, this is just how I am. I can't change it. So I'm not intimidated or anything like that. And also I was on the internet a lot. So I kind of saw that other, you know, queer artists were emerging from their place and they were talking about the same struggles I was having. So, and that was what was, you know, helping them almost, their narrative and their true story. And so I just like, you know, in the beginning, I didn't really mention it much because of that reason. Because I felt a little unsafe and I hate feeling unsafe and I love feeling safe. So, I definitely waited a bit to be a little more like, you know, go to a big city and, you know, where it's like normal. But, yeah, it's definitely like, I remember getting like all these looks and yeah, it's still like, yeah, I remember like walking around the bars and in downtown, like Hobart, and my friends I'm like, oh, let's go to this one. They're like, I don't know if we should go on that one. And I was like, why? They're like, that's like, it's like a biker one. and I was just like, oh, okay, all right. So we're going to go there. But I mean, it was cool. And now, I mean, there's tons of queer kids in Indiana, and I'm glad that they can feel safe and you know, and if they don't, then I hope that it changes soon. But I think a lot of things are changing. A lot of things. I mean, that was like 2017 that I was really, really, really in Indiana. So yeah. To 2018 too, but 2019 I was everywhere. I was like, I'm out. But I would come back and visit, but I would just see family.
Yeah, thank you for sharing all that. And you mentioned your parents are from Jalisco. I think they're from Guadalajara. I'm interested in the ways their taste in music influenced you. You just recently recorded a corrido version of Sabrina Carpenter's Please, Please, Please. And you've referenced corrido music a lot in your work. Tell me about the influence of corridos and Mexican regional music on your songwriting and music making.
It's actually funny. I have like a very specific influence because my parents only showed me like a certain region of music. So I didn't get any of like the norteñas or like just like, yeah, I don't know, I didn't get like all of it. I guess like if I were to compare it, I didn't get like funk, jazz, doo-wop, R&B, soul. Like I just got funk. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it was. Like so I didn't understand, even though they all kind of like have elements and, you know, influenced by each other. Like I just got like one side of the Mexican music, which was like the very traditional, very classical, very Pedro Infantes, very like Frank Sinatra, big romantic songs. And like with like a lot of string arrangements and things like that. So my influence for corridos was always like this kind of like old school. Like my uncle would come with a guitar and just play at anywhere we were there drinking, and he would just play boom, 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 boom. And it was just that rhythm the whole time. It was only songs with those rhythms. And so that's what I picked up on. And then aside from that, I was American, so I was experiencing all of the American culture and hip hop and rap and R&B, soul. Not so much country. I don't think I was South enough for that, but everything else I was like being exposed to. And so having the two, you know, culture mix created kind of like this own like a subculture of like Mexican Americans in that area, you know, because a lot of when I sing corridos, I still do like R&B runs and I still do soul runs. So it's cool to have those two influences.
Jamás tuve esperanza, me pegó la bala sin tu calor. Me acuerdo de antes, tiene otras amantes, me da dolor. Tú no sabes tanto que yo haría, tocarte las manitas debajo del cielo.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by the 34th Heartland International Film Festival. Returns October 9th through the 19th, showcasing 100 independent films from the Indy area. Festival tickets and more at heartlandfilmfestival.org.
This is Cultural Manifesto, and I'm Kyle Long. If you're just tuning in, we're listening back to my 2024 interview with Omar Apollo. Let's return to our conversation. You mentioned the discrimination you saw growing up against your family. I did, before we go, want to ask about what's happening today in America. The God Said No tour is happening against the backdrop of a very tense presidential race. One of the candidates has built his reputation on demonizing and lying about immigrants. He's now threatening mass deportation. Indiana is home to over 100,000 undocumented immigrants who have really built our cities up economically and culturally. They've made such an important contribution to our state. How do you feel as a Mexican American, as a son of an immigrant family, how do you feel about the language that's being used right now and the hateful rhetoric that's being normalized by this presidential candidate?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving visibility to all the Mexicans in Indiana, because there's a lot. And they did, you know, the importance is, I mean, it's very beautiful to be recognized for that, especially like knowing how much my parents have worked and had to, you know, to give me any type of thoughts outside of survival. Like even the fact that I was able to become an artist is because of them, having 2 jobs, working 16-hour days, and both of them. So like 4 jobs total, and me not seeing them until 11, and then they wake up at 6 and do the same thing for 20 years. Just so I can, live outside of, this ideation of having to work to survive. So, I'm very grateful for that, for you saying that. Thank you. I appreciate it. But, as far as the hate, that's something that we've always had. I grew up almost desensitized to slurs. I didn't even learn them. My parents didn't teach me them. I'd be in school and people would call me this, that, the third. And I didn't even know what it was. I was like so unfamiliar. I was just oblivious. I was a child. And I'd go home and be like, someone called me this. And they're like, my mom wouldn't know either. Like they wouldn't know what it was. And it wasn't until I got into high school until someone told me, like, you're going to let him call you that? And I was like, well, what does it mean? And then, well, he said it because you're Mexican. I was like, oh, that's why he wants me to cut his grass. I was just so confused. And so the what's going on, with Trump and things like that. It's depressing. We've all I've said I can't, stop all this shit, but I'm not a politician. I'm not, but I know that I'm inherently political. Just by being a queer Mexican, and I'm here, and I come from immigrant parents, and I'm giving visibility to that community. So I hope that, that could lift some of the things that are being said and untrue, and just like hateful, honestly. Yeah. And, my mom and dad have always tried to protect me from those things when I was younger. They'd be like, hey, you look a little different at school. They're going to be doing this. And, they might, judge you for this or that, or, how dark you get in the summer. Like they're going to ask you, like, why are you, or whatever, I remember I used to get told by out of protection, which is, it's sad, but like, I would get like other moms and my moms, like other Mexican families, just be like, you should like stay out of the sun. Like, don't go out in the sun too much so you don't get like too dark. Because of how we would be treated, and that was, a real like wake up call, and it's always just something I've always dealt with. It's been reality forever. So that my brothers deal with, my sister deals with, and her kids are dealing with. And so, yeah, it's just, I think just bringing awareness and speaking about it is helping. And yeah, just continue to exist in the way that we do. And that is going to ultimately benefit everything. But yeah.
Yeah. And let me just say that there is a huge scene of Mexican Americans and Mexicans in Indiana making music, and your rise into the mainstream of popular music has really been a validation of their efforts here. So it has huge importance to that community and to me as a music fan and as an ally to that community. The work you're doing, just beyond its artistic merit, has a deeply significant cultural value here. So thank you for everything you've done as an artist. I appreciate it.
WFYI podcasts are brought to you by Bloomington, home to the Indiana Hoosiers and over 200,000 acres of fall foliage in the Hoosier National Forest. Enjoy in-seasonal flavors at local restaurants, experience views atop 4 fire towers, or catch a Big Ten football game at Memorial Stadium. Plan your fall getaway at visitbloomington.com.